During the summit of divided stars on neutral station harmony, Queen Lysandra Starborn of the Zelarian Queendom made an unprecedented personal appearance. Zelarian queens rarely left their homeworld, and her presence suggested genuine commitment to peace after 3 decades of border conflicts with the Terran Federation. The Zelarians were an ancient matriarchal civilization ruled by queens who inherited psionic abilities that strengthened with each generation. Lysandra was considered the most powerful psion in Zelarian history, able to sense emotions across vast distances and read surface thoughts with frightening accuracy. Among the Terran security contingent was Sergeant Marcus Webb, assigned to monitor the station's outer perimeter zones, areas far from the main negotiation chambers. It was quiet duty, away from the action, assigned to someone competent but not critical to high-stakes diplomacy. Marcus didn't mind the isolation. After years of combat postings and constant military noise, he found the quiet perimeter duty almost meditative. During a routine patrol of an observation deck overlooking the station's stellar vista, Marcus encountered someone who shouldn't be there. Queen Lysandra herself, walking alone through an area diplomatic protocol suggested should be off-limits to primary negotiators without full security details. Marcus's training kicked in immediately: verify identity, assess threat, determine if this required intervention. But before he could go through official challenge procedures, Queen Lysandra spoke first, her voice carrying genuine curiosity rather than royal command. "Are you alone, human?" The question caught Marcus completely off guard. He was prepared for diplomatic queries, security challenges, even hostile confrontation, but not for something so personal and direct. Marcus's first response was professional. "Your Majesty, this is a restricted area. I need to verify if your presence here is authorized." Lysandra cut him off with gentle gesture. "I asked if you are alone. Not about protocols or authorizations, just, are you alone?" Marcus processed carefully. Zelarian queens were known for questions with layers of meaning, for tests disguised as casual conversation. But something about Lysandra's tone suggested sincerity rather than testing, and her psionic abilities meant lying would be pointless anyway. So he answered honestly, "Right now, yes, I'm alone on this patrol route. More broadly, I'm part of the security contingent, but this particular posting is solitary by design." Lysandra's expression shifted to something approaching relief. She stepped further into the observation deck, moving to the windows overlooking space. "May I stay here for a moment? I find I need solitude, and apparently so do you, even if your solitude comes with military duty rather than royal privilege." Marcus should contact his superiors, should follow protocols for unscheduled royal movements. Instead, he found himself responding with unexpected honesty. "You can stay as long as you need, Your Majesty. I'm supposed to verify authorized personnel, but I'm also supposed to prevent disruptions to important diplomatic figures, and forcing you to deal with protocol bureaucracy right now seems disruptive." Lysandra laughed, genuine amusement rather than diplomatic politeness. "You are either very good at your job or very bad at following rules. I cannot determine which, and I find that fascinating." They stood together in silence for several minutes, both looking out at the stellar vista. Finally, she spoke again, her voice carrying vulnerability Marcus had never heard in any diplomatic recording. "I asked if you are alone because I wanted to know if I am the only one who finds these gatherings intensely isolating, despite being constantly surrounded by people. You stand here by yourself on purpose, away from your colleagues and the negotiations. I walked here alone, away from my advisors and the careful political theater, seeking the same solitude. We are both alone in rooms full of people, and I wondered if you felt it too." Marcus considered carefully. "I'm alone because my posting is solitary and I prefer the quiet. But you're alone because being a queen means everyone treats you as a symbol rather than a person. and finding genuine connection becomes nearly impossible when every interaction is calculated for political advantage. Those aren't the same kind of alone, Your Majesty. Lysandra turned to face him directly, and Marcus felt the weight of her psionic awareness, not invasive, just present in a way that suggested she perceived far more than his words conveyed. You understand, then? Most people do not. They see the crown, the power, the abilities, and they assume that commanding such resources means never experiencing loneliness. But power and connection are often inversely related. The more authority I hold, the fewer people can speak to me honestly. She searched his face. You are speaking honestly to me now. Why? Why are you being genuine when diplomatic training would suggest careful political language? Marcus's answer came from exhaustion with pretense. Because I'm a security guard on the outer perimeter, Your Majesty. My diplomatic training consists of don't cause incidents and be respectful. I'm not important enough for my honesty to have political consequences, and you asked a direct question about isolation that deserves a direct answer. Also, your psionic abilities mean you'd know if I was lying anyway, so performing political theater seems pointless. Lysandra's smile transformed her from distant queen to someone younger and more vulnerable. You have given me the first genuinely honest conversation I have had at this entire summit. Everyone else performs carefully calculated sincerity. You simply speak your thoughts and let me judge their truth. That is remarkably refreshing. They continued talking for over an hour, far longer than Marcus's patrol schedule allowed. The conversation ranged from personal to philosophical. Lysandra sharing what it was like to inherit psionic abilities so powerful that reading emotions became involuntary, making every interaction exhausting. Marcus talking about choosing security work specifically because it allowed solitude while still serving a purpose. At one point, Lysandra asked a question revealing the depths of her loneliness. Do you ever wish you could simply be ordinary, not carrying responsibility or expectations, just existing as yourself without performance? Marcus's response was immediate, every day. But I also recognize that wishing to be ordinary is itself a privilege. Most people spend their lives wishing they were more important, had more impact, mattered more. We get to wish for the opposite, which means we've already achieved what they want. Lysandra considered this, then spoke with honesty she'd never show her own court. I have ruled for 40 years. In that entire time, this conversation, right now, with a human security guard I met by accident, is the most genuine personal connection I have experienced. That should feel pathetic, but instead it feels like hope. The moment was interrupted when both their communication devices activated. Marcus's supervisor requesting status, Lysandra's advisor urgently seeking her return to negotiations. Before they separated, Lysandra made a request that broke diplomatic protocol. May I contact you again? Not through official channels, not for diplomatic purposes, but simply to continue this conversation when duties allow. I find I do not wish this to be our only honest interaction. Marcus should decline. Fraternization with foreign dignitaries violated numerous regulations. Instead, he agreed. I'd like that, Your Majesty. Though I should warn you that conversations with security guards are usually pretty boring. Lysandra's laugh carried genuine warmth. Sergeant Webb, I have had 40 years of high-level diplomatic exchanges. They are performative, calculated, and deeply boring beneath their veneer of importance. What you offer, honest conversation with someone who doesn't want anything from me except to share the burden of isolation, is far more valuable. Over the following weeks, they met irregularly in that observation deck, always briefly, always maintaining plausible deniability. Their conversations deepened from recognition of shared isolation to genuine friendship. As the summit concluded successfully, Lysandra approached Marcus one final time, and her question echoed the one that started everything. Are you alone, human? Marcus's response had changed, "Not anymore, Your Majesty. Neither of us is alone now." She smiled, and they stood together watching stars beyond the station windows. Two people who found connection across impossible divides, simply because one asked an honest question and the other gave an honest answer. "I asked if you were alone, expecting a